Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Beautiful.
And he's
But
on
they're
my desk.
happy.
He reminds me to chant and read and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. 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 Beautiful. All right. So, chapter 4. The key theme was chapter 4 was loving service to Govinda,
Krishna. Govinda.
Krishna alone, right? Loving service to Krishna, Govinda, Achta, all the different names, but they were using Govinda, so I use Govinda. So, loving service to Govinda alone. That's what the pure devotee desire, right? So, as we are on the same path, we also would like to desire that. So, what we learned from chapter 4, that we have to develop that strong desire. And there is a word for that in Sanskrit, it's called laulam. Laulam, laulam. Okay, so that's a Sanskrit word. Means we have to develop a lot of greed to get Krishna and only Krishna. And rejecting liberation, opulences, and fearlessness, everything is insignificant compared to prema. So, what we learned that relationship is greater than liberation. For the
Mhm,
devotee, relationship is over liberation.
mhm,
Sweetness is over power, right? The devotee look for sweetness, then the power, which is the Ashwarya of Krishna, which is Narayan. So they are looking for sweetness and love over relief from suffering. What it means that devotees are ever willing to go to hell to serve Krishna, right? So love over relief from suffering, and this is the highest kind of love which our practice teaches us, right? That love in separation, people will think that, oh, love in separation means suffering, right? Who would like to be away from your beloved, right? If you love somebody and you would you like to be away from your beloved? No, you would like to close. But what we learn that being away seems like, look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It seems that he was always crying, like in separation from Krishna, right? But he's experiencing the highest level of joy, right? Radharani and Gopi away from Krishna, they are experiencing the highest level of joy, right? So these are things which we have not experienced, but this is what the scripture says, that that's the highest level of one experience the highest level of joy in separation. Okay, so next natural question that follows is, right? If devotion is so absolute and exclusive, what happens to rules, duties, qualifications, and social obligations? Right? We are
It
living in this.
become
Yeah, go ahead.
uh,
Go ahead.
becomes more of a natural thing and not a task.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what we are going to explore because they are, as the part of our duty, um, we we talk about the varnashrama, like so based on our what um, part of our life we are in, right? So right now, some of us are in family life, right? So if so there are responsibilities. Um, how do we? What happens to those if we are telling that, hey, love to Govinda is the primary desire? So is that how do we really practically walk on that path, right? And as you rightly said, Bream, that yes, we have to dovetail that, right? So that we have learned from the Bhagavad Gita. So the concept will go a little deeper over here from the bhakti perspective, right? So that's what we are going to learn in chapter 5. So chapter 5 directly in a way responds to chapter 4. For example, chapter 4 says pure devotee reject liberation. Chapter 4 says that they are indifferent to heaven, hell, or moksha, liberation, right? And the chapter 4 says that the devotee give themselves fully to Krishna. Chapter 5 will ask and answer, who is actually qualified for such devotion? Does bhakti violate Varna Ashrama and social order? Because this question comes, oh, Varna Ashrama says that. and Jessica Mata, you understand Varna Ashrama, right? We have talked a little bit on Bhagavad Gita, remember? So it says Brahman, so the teaching class, the
Hmm.
fighting class, the business class, right? And the
Hmm.
working
Yeah.
class, right? So they have the
Hmm.
certain responsibility, right? So that's called Varna Ashrama. Okay, so that's the word, and we will you'll see Varna, Varna Ashrama, Srama, Varna Ashrama. So does bhakti violate Varna Ashrama and social order? Right? So it will answer that. Or it will answer, is neglect of duties sinful for a devotee? Right? So let's say if I'm not following certain duty which is recommended, for example, Varna Ashrama says that one should do certain kind of a sacrifices and all those stuff. Like if the devotee is not doing, are they sinful for not doing that? Right? So it will answer that. And then it will also answer, what if a devotee make a mistake? Because to err is human, we say that, right? So what happens if a devotee make a mistake? It will further answer, is bhakti dependent on purity, birth, or qualification? So chapter 5, in a way, it protects chapter 4 from misunderstanding. Because what can happen, let's say if chapter 5 is not there, chapter 4, people say that, oh, Krishna is the only shelter, no one else. And then I'm not looking at my wife. I'm not taking care of my kid. I'm forgetting my other responsibility. I'm not going to my work because so people may misunderstand and they may take very extreme action because that, oh, I have read chapter 4. So chapter 5 is going to give a protection and principle by which we can lead our life while we are in this world. Okay, so it's going to clarify those points. Okay, so just like chapter 4 defined the highest desire in bhakti, chapter 5 is going to explain the freedom, safety, and eligibility to pursue that desire. Right. So chapter 4 is teaching that our highest thing what we can do is desire for Krishna, pure bhakti. And chapter 5 is going to explain while we are doing it, what are the things for which we have the freedom and what is the safety net around that, and right. So those are things he's going to talk about. Okay, so so and in summary, what is going to tell, right? And I'm just so bhakti is going to tell that bhakti is chapter 5 is going to tell bhakti is universally accessible. Bhakti is not sinful. Is going to talk about is going to talk bhakti is self-purifying, and it will also talk bhakti does not depend on material qualification, right? So it will talk about all those things. So it will give the devotee practitioner a lot of relief. Oh, this is how it works. Oh, that's great. The bhakti is very it becomes very easy. I can do it while I'm a family man, or while I'm a single person, or while I'm uh, um, in the retirement life of my life, or whatever life is. I can. This is how I can practice the bhakti, and I can really practice it very safely within the realm while I'm here. Okay, so it will go into qualify. So connecting all the 5 chapters and the introduction. What was the theme of the introduction?
Definition of pure bhakti.
Yes, what is pure bhakti? Okay. Chapter 1.
You said chapter 1
Six
was.
characteristics of bhakti.
Yes. So chapter 1 in a way says what is the power of bhakti? Yes, characteristics, 6 characteristic we talked about, right? So
Mhm.
if introduction says what is pure bhakti, the chapter 1 in a way says that what is the power of bhakti, right? If somebody is doing, these are the characteristics we are going to get, right? That's the power one is going to get. Okay. Chapter 2.
Yeah.
The types
How
of
to practice.
bhakti.
Yes, types of bhakti we talked about, right? Sadhana, bhava, prema, and within that. So in a way, it's telling how does bhakti develop, right? So, okay, we start from sadhana, and then further one will move to bhava, and then the prema, and within that one is practicing the Vedi sadhana bhakti, and then from there they will move to the raganuga, more desire, more greed develops, right? So chapter 2 in a way talks about how does bhakti develop. Chapter 3, what it talks about.
Qualifications.
Yes, who is qualified to practice bhakti? And what did we learn? Who is qualified to practice bhakti?
Whoever
Free
has
from.
No.
has to do devotional service.
Anyone who's attracted to the service.
Very good. Yes, yes. Even little bit of faith one has developed and they are attraction to the service. That's a practical way to know that, oh, somebody is attracted to practicing bhakti. So very good. And chapter 4. What was this theme?
Yeah, what to desire from God.
Wonderful. What should a devotee desire? Wonderful. And chapter 5 is going to tell who can safely live by that desire. Can safely live. So we all have to live in this society with all the constraint allowed us. So who can safely live by that desire? So that's how we'll be talking about. Okay. So it will be answering the question like, if everyone is qualified for bhakti, why doesn't the society collapse? Because initially when I had come, and in fact, um, uh, when we're learning about the pure bhakti, there were questions that, oh, if I have to leave this, then the whole so who is going to work? Everybody is doing. Still, my friends sometimes challenge that, oh, if you all guys are going to just do the chanting, who is going to fight? Who's going to do this? Right? They are more active. They are my friend. This friend is more in activism. He likes to do more activism. That protect this, protect my country, and do this. So they talk like who, why, like who is going to, mean society should collapse, right? It will further ask, is a devotee sinful for neglecting varnashrama duties? Okay. It will further ask, if a devotee makes mistake, does bhakti still protect them? It will further ask, is bhakti dependent on purity, or does bhakti creates purity? So we will be going over all those three things. Okay, all those things, right? So let me share my screen. Is that a good summary? Means you all are with me that it clarifies that what we will be discussing today?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So chapter 5, the purity of devotional service. It covers from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, chapter 2, 60 verse to 71 verse, right? So there are around 12 verses it covers. So let's read. Anybody would like to go first and read this paragraph?
Yes, Prabhu, I can read.
Go ahead.
Um, the execution and perfection of devotional service is not dependent on any material consideration. Every other process of self-realization, however, is dependent on external circumstances. Jnana Yoga requires a peaceful, renounced disposition and highly developed intellect. Ashtanga Yoga demands many rigid prerequisites that only a sannyasi can even begin to adapt. Karma Kanda is also dependent on external circumstances. A yajna cannot be successful unless the time, place, and ingredients are flawless. Only Bhakti Yoga is completely pure, free from any dependence on external prerequisites. That is why Srila Prabhupada titles the fifth chapter The Purity of Devotional Service. Srila Rūpa Goswāmī mentions several common prerequisites for self-realization, such as a good birth, purity, and proper execution of varnashrama dharma. He explains how bhakti is not dependent on them.
Yeah, so you see you can see the underline is how bhakti is not dependent on any of those things. So we are going to go over those citation. Okay, so I will invite. So we have 62, 66. Okay, all the 71 is here. So we can read maybe 4 verses. So 62, 63. Who would like to read English?
Translation. Furthermore, the following should be understood. The scriptures say that any human being is qualified for bhakti, just as everyone is qualified to take a bath during the month of Magha Vashita. While speaking to the king, has given that example concerning devotion to the Lord.
Okay, so let me explain. So Magha is the month, name of the month in Hindi. Okay, so Magha is when it is raining a lot. Magh. Okay, and Vashishta, while he's speaking to the king, so he was from Ramayan. The king was Dasarath. So Dasarath, Ram's dad. So Vasishtha was the what do you say, the guru, the teacher of the whole kingdom. Okay, so he was the main guru of the whole kingdom. So that's his name, Vasishtha. While he's speaking to the king, has given that example concerning devotion to the Lord. Okay, go ahead, 61.
Translation. In the Padma Purana, it is said, all are qualified for Hari Bhakti, O king.
Okay, so now Vasishtha is telling Dasarath that everybody is qualified for Hari Bhakti. 62.
Translation. In the Kashi Khanda, it is said, in that country, the obstacles receiving Vaishnava initiation wearing the mark of the conch and disc shine like sacrificial priests.
Okay, so let me little explain here. So in the same, so the story is being cited in Kashi Khanda. So in Ramayana, there are multiple sections, right? In Bhagavatam, let's say you have 12 canto. So Ramayana is divided into different canto, and this canto name is Kasi Khanda. Okay, so within that, he's citing the Vishisht is continuing and saying that in that country, the outcast receiving Vaishnava initiation. So outcast, the people who are very low class, right? Like they are not even considered like, oh, like the so abominable life they are leading, right? They are also can get receive Vaishnava initiation. Right now, like the devotee go through the Vaishnava initiation, wearing the marks of conch and disc shine like sacrificial priest. So we'll talk today in this chapter. There, as a part of initiation, there are five primary things, and conch and disc. So in the Śrī Vaishnava, so just like our is Gaudiya Madhva Vaishnava, there is a Śrī Vaishnava where they take the literally the iron, and they with that with the hot iron they make the mark of the conch and disc, and people get it done, right? So what in a way is telling that people get the Vaishnava initiation even who are outcasts. So they are eligible. The outcasts are also eligible to get the Vaishnava initiation, and then they shine like a sacrificial priest. The priest who are making the doing the sacrifice, the yajna, they are considered to a very high kind of priest, right? So it is comparing that how a low born can really become a very highly elevated Vaishnava. So basically, it's telling anybody can practice bhakti. Okay, continue. 63, 64. Yeah.
Translation. And moreover, it is said, the person qualified for bhakti is a fault for following to perform all of the important angas of bhakti. But if he is not at fault for failing to perform the duties of varna and ashrama, if he by chance happens to commit some sin, there is no atonement prescribed for him. This is the opinion of those who know the secret of Vaisnava scriptures.
Okay, so now let me ask the question because this is much clear. What is the takeaway from this verse or all the verses we have read so far?
That a person even of low-born outcasts can also still be initiated, and then they'll be put in, but they need to perform all of the duties. Um, and if they commit some sort of a crime and fall down, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. So okay, somebody would like to some try to take the. It's good, very good job, Jessica. Yes, you covered all the previous verses. So anybody would like to tell the key takeaway from this verse?
Um, I remember there was a verse in one of the earlier classes, I think in Canto 11, Chapter 27, where it states that if there's some fault or sin from a Vaishnava, that those Vaishnavas, they don't genuinely derive pleasure from that, and they atone on their own, and to keep serving the Lord cheerfully. So that's, I remember that.
Yeah.
I think that's relevant.
That's definitely relevant here. So that was the classic definition of bhakti, that the devotee, that devotee or the practitioner of the Lord, they they are always thinking of the pure bhakti, and sometimes where they are not able to do it and they fall down, they totally repent it, and they keep making the progress, right? And even if they are making the mistake sometimes they are still considered to be follower of the pure bhakti. Okay, so that was the 11th canto verse which Bhrimata is talking about. So in this verse, so see, the important part is, say there are two parts. The person qualified for bhakti is at fault for failing to perform all of the important angas. Angas means all the important parts of bhakti. So we will be going like those. So um, later chapters in the Sadhana Bhakti, Rupa Goswami is going to talk about 64 different items, parts of bhakti, which a devotee should try to practice. And then of those, he said these five are really top. Everybody should do that. Okay, so that's the anga he's talking about. So he's telling that a bhakti practitioner is at fault for failing to perform all of the important. So either if we don't perform those five important section of the bhakti, then we will be considered at fault. But this is the point. He is not at fault for failing to perform the duties of varna and ashrama. So very clearly is telling that devotee need not worry about performing the duties of the varna and ashrama. And there are a lot of duties the person who is not following the bhakti path within the varna ashrama system, they have to follow a lot of things. For example, the garasta, the family men, they should after they of course waking up, they should be doing a lot of yagya, right? They should be doing, and then if they make the mistake, they should again do the yagya for atonement, right? That, oh, I made this mistake. So other than the bhakti path, it is prescribed that if somebody makes a mistake, they should do the atonement. For even in Christianity, right? People go and ask for the forgiveness for their sin. But then again, what happens with the atonement path, and we will learn a little bit more in the later chapter, that bhakti is the only process which not only remove the sin, it always remove the desire to sin. No other process can do that. Okay. So in the other process, people just keep doing atonement and atonement because their desire to sin is not gone. So he says further, if he by chance happens to commit some sin, there is no atonement prescribed for him. So the bhakti practitioner, there is no need of any specific atonement for them to go and do if by mistake they have done some mistakes, okay, some sin. So this is the opinion of those who know the secret of Vaishnava scripture. So this is being what is being conveyed in the one of the section of the one of the canto of Ramayana by Vashisht Muni, who is the very elevated sage. Okay, all right. So 65 to 68. Okay, who would like to read next?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thus, in the 11th canto, it is said, steadiness in one's own position is declared to be the actual piety, whereas deviation from one's position is considered impiety. In this way, the two are definitely ascertained.
Assert,
Ascertained.
ascertained, ascertained means yeah,
Ascertained.
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 Yes, yes.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 21, Verse 2. Therefore, for devotee engaged in my loving service, with fixed mind on me, the cultivating of knowledge and renunciation is generally not the means of achieving the highest perfection within this world. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 20, Verse 31. One should continue to perform the Vedic ritualistic activities until one actually becomes detached from material sense gratification and develops faith for hearing and chanting about me. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 20, Verse 9.
Okay, so what is the takeaway from this? And JS is Jeev Goswami.
Jiva Goswami. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, what is the takeaway from this verse? What we read?
That being renounced alone and your mind focused on Krishna is not the highest perfection, but engaging in his ritualistics and his activities and being detached from sense gratification, it will develop and or is better.
Sounds like being successful in your position is going to bring perfection in your life.
Yeah, so if you just read this, right? Steadiness in one's own position is declared to be actual piety. So a devotee just being steady in their devotional service will generate all kind of piety. They don't care of the piety, right? But this will generate all kind of piety, whereas the deviation from one position is considered impiety. For the devotion devotee practitioner is very simple. Just follow the path and be steady. So do your service, right? Do your chanting. That itself is giving all the result of all the things one is going to go and get while doing all the Vedic ritual, right? So one just get that, but just following the path of bhakti. That's what the meaning of this is, right? And there's a reference, it is directly coming, this verse is directly coming from Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Jeev Goswami is further telling, for the devotee, he's elaborating, for the devotee engage my loving service with mind fixed on me, the cultivation of knowledge and renunciation is generally not the means of achieving the highest perfection within this world. So cultivation, so to get the love of God, Krishna, and to fix our mind, the cultivation of knowledge and renunciation is not required, because that is that is required in the jnana path, but that is not required for the bhakti path. One should continue to perform the Vedic ritualistic activities until one actually becomes detached from material sense gratification and develops faith for hearing and chanting about me. So this is like subtext, right? Within the, let's say there's a principle. Principle is, once you are in a path of bhakti, you do not need to worry about the knowledge and renunciation. But if you haven't reached, developed that taste for hearing and chanting, right? Because one, so or one is not doing the service, because that is the qualification for one to start doing the bhakti. Until then, one should perform the Vedic ritualistic activities. So it's telling that prematurely, one should not, after reading this, one should say that, oh, I don't need to do anything, and they are not even practicing bhakti. They are like, let's say, today I said one Hare Krishna, and then I'm not chanting, I'm not doing service, but I'm saying I won't do the Vedic ritual because, in my heart, I believe Bhakti Yoga is the right path. But one has to practice also, right? So you just want to make sure people like immaturely they don't forget about their duty. Okay, so that's what it's talking about. Yes, Mataji, continue.
In the first canto, it is said, if someone gives up his occupational duties and works in Krishna consciousness and then falls down on account of not completing his work, what loss is there on his part? Moreover, what can one gain if one performs his occupational duties perfectly but does not worship the Lord? Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, verse 17.
Okay, what is the takeaway?
If you're not worshiping the Lord, so I understand your occupational duty is to worship the Lord and not the Varnashram system. So success and devotion to the Lord is what is considered perfection. Whereas if you're just doing Varnashram without devotion to the Lord, then it's not piety. It's not pious.
Yeah, so you have gone to a higher level, right? And that's very good. That as a devotee, that's exactly, you think that for devotee, the occupational duty is uh, bhakti. That's it. That's the occupational duty of a devotee. It is, but in this case, the context is, if someone gives up, so the person, if somebody is giving up their occupational duty and they are working in Krishna consciousness, So while a devotee who is focused on the Krishna consciousness, but they, let's say for some reason they give the occupational duty and then they fall down on account of not completing his work, right? They fall down because they started the Krishna consciousness, but they gave up occupational duty, and then in the bhakti also they fell down. Is telling that what is the loss is there on his part? There is no loss. So for basically for the devotee practitioner, as long as they are doing bhakti and they don't follow other rituals, there's no loss for them. Case number one. Case number two, even if somebody is doing the bhakti and they are not doing their occupational duty, and let's say while doing the bhakti some fall down happens, or they're not able to complete all the way to their ultimate aim, what is the loss? Because again they will begin from where they left off, right? So there is no loss for the devotee, right? But and then it is on the contrary, it does the contrast and compare. What can one gain if one performs his occupational duty perfectly but does not worship the Lord? So if somebody is doing perfectly their occupational duty of the Krishna of the karma kanda, like the karma yoga or the whatever jnana yoga, but they are not worshipping the Lord, they are just wasting their time. That's what it is telling. So just serving Krishna and loving him, that's more than sufficient to be successful in this life. That's the takeaway. Am I making sense? Yeah. 67. Yeah.
In the 11th canto, it is said, he perfectly understands that the ordinary religious duties prescribed by me in various Vedic scriptures possess favorable qualities that purify the performer, and he knows that neglect of such duties constitutes a discrepancy in one's life. Having taken complete shelter of my lotus feet, however, a saintly person ultimately renounces such ordinary religious duties and worships me alone. He is thus considered the best among living entities. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 11, verse 32.
Yeah. Best among all living entities. Right. So what is the takeaway?
Loving and worshipping Krishna is the only aim we should have. Even though it's been prescribed in Vedic scriptures that we, few things we do, it will purify us. But if even if you don't do, just remember Krishna and worship him, that's good enough.
Yes, very good. So Krishna is telling here, clarifying that, hey, I have given even the ordinary religious duties I have prescribed, right, in various Vedic scripture, because Krishna is the one who spoke about the Karma Yoga also and the Jnana Yoga and everything. So there are different on the other the people who are on the part of path of Karma Kanda, they do a lot of religious worship and all. He's telling, yeah, those things are given by me, but if one takes the shelter of my lotus feet, they can renounce all such ordinary duties and just worship me alone, and that is the perfection, right? And they are considered the best among all the living entities. So Krishna himself is telling that I have given, but if somebody is following the path of the pure bhakti, then they are best among all the living entities. Go ahead.
It is also stated there, anyone who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving all kinds of obligations, and has taken the path in all seriousness, owes neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, mankind, or forefathers. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 5, verse 41.
Yes. So further proof, right? So what we understand from this?
So
Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam.
Yes. Abandon all variety of religion, just surrender unto me. Very good. Very good. Yeah. And Bri Mataji, go ahead.
I think Shiva said it perfectly.
Yes, he said so perfectly. Yes. So to elaborate, okay, so abandon. What does the abandon all variety of religion means? He's telling this because if let's say I'm not following the path of bhakti, then there's obligation that I have to take care of my forefather. I have to do certain ritual. I have to worship all the so all the dem- all the most all the important demigods, and then depending on what lineage one is coming from, there are stages in that lineage, you have to take care of them. There are deities from that lineage, you have to take care of them, you have to worship them. Of course, you have to take care of all your family members. So all there are so many duties which is associated for being born in this mother earth, right? But none of those are required to be done if one is doing the bhakti at the lotus feet of Mukunda, which is Krishna. Okay? But there will be practical thing also, like, so we will, there will be some they have something called extra varnashrama. We will talk a little bit about that, and that will give even more, like, do the, it gives it, it beg to ask a question. So does it mean that the devotee do not do any varnashrama dharma? We can abandon everything. What does it mean? So there are questions which get asked, right? I'll still have so many issues. So we will have extra discussion on that also. Okay. Okay. Um, Next devotee who would like to read from 69 to 71. Yes, Abri, you have a question, Mataji?
Yeah, I think before this we start this, it's like the concept of watering the root, right, of the tree instead
Yes.
of all the branches.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, yeah. Especially in terms of that example, that analogy gets used, worshipping all the demigod versus just worshipping Krishna, and that takes care of everything. So that analogy is used for that. Yes, exactly. Yes. Who would like to read next? Sorry, I didn't focus.
I
I can read Prabhuji.
Oh, okay, go ahead, Mata.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Giving up all dharmas and surrender to me alone, I will deliver you from all sins. Do not worry. Just as the rules and prohibitions of the Smriti scriptures do not approach a liberated person, the rules and prohibitions applicable to Vaidika or Tantrika. Prabhu, can you ask?
Yeah, yeah.
Worship also do not touch the worshipper of Rama.
Yeah, so this is coming from the Agastya Samhita. So again, one of the canto of Ramayana. So Vashishta Muni is continuing, right? So he is telling that just as the rules and prohibition of the Smriti. Smriti, what does the Smriti includes? What are the books under the Smriti?
That Upanishads and all.
That's in Shruti. Smriti is all the
Itihasa.
Puranas, Itihasa, Puranas, right? Yeah. So, yes. So, just as the rules and provision of the Smriti scripture do not approach a liberated person, the rules and provision applicable to Vedika or Tantrika worship also do not touch the worshipper of Rama. So, none of these, so the things which is applicable and mentioned in Vedika and Tantrika, the different segment of our Vedic scripture, and they prescribe a lot of rules, regulation, prayers, and all those stuff. It says none of those things is applicable for the worshipper of Rama, and Rama here is referring to the Vishu Vaishnava, which is Krishna. Okay. Yes, and this last verse.
And in the 11th canto, it is said, one who has thus given up all other engagements and has taken full shelter at the lotus feet of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is very dear to the Lord. Indeed, if such a surrendered soul accidentally commits some sinful activity, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated within everyone's heart, immediately takes away the reaction to such sin.
See, so basically that's the reason the devotee. It's not the devotee is inclined to do sin, but because to err is human and we are still on the path of pure bhakti, sometimes we do make mistake unknowingly, right? But Krishna is there. We should not be scared, worried, oh, if I do this, what will happen? As long as we have taken shelter of Krishna, we are under Krishna, we are under Radharani. They are going to take care. I'm just going to love them. I'm going to learn to love them. I'm going to do all the practices which are going to increase my love for them. That's it. That is the net. Okay. All right. Aparna Mataji, you can read this.
Yes, Prabhuji. Srila Prabhupada then relates the interesting history of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura's opposition to the caste Goswamis who claimed a birthright monopoly on pure devotional service. There was a great hard struggle for some time, but it has turned out successfully, and it is now correctly and practically established that devotional service is not restricted to a particular class of men. This point is particularly relevant to the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Srila Prabhupada writes, our Krishna consciousness movement in the Western world is based on the above mentioned proposition of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, our spiritual master. On his authority, we are claiming members from all sections of the Western countries. The so called Brahmanas claim that one who is not born into a Brahmana family cannot receive the sacred thread and cannot become a high grade Vaishnava. But we do not accept such a theory because is not supported by Rupa Goswami nor the strength of various scriptures. Page 48.
So, what is the takeaway? What what here Prabhupada, why Prabhupada is citing this particular section? And he's giving the reference from what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has done to fight the caste Goswamis, and how Prabhupada is using that to prove some point in the Western country. Why he's doing that and why it is relevant.
Prabhuji, to normalize, bhakti services is not just for certain caste of people, so that everyone can practice at an equal level, and so we are all deserving of Krishna's mercy and love.
Yes, so that's the general comment. But here the Prabhupada was very specifically talking. So what happened when Prabhupada came here? And so first of all, sannyasi um, is not supposed to cross the seven ocean. That's the like there's in some of the Vedic rich like Vedas, there's somewhere it mentioned that they if you're in the sacred land of India, you do not cross and go to the west, right? So Prabhupada broke that rule as per those caste Brahmins or caste Goswamis. And then he further what he did after coming here, they say that the Vedas say that if somebody is not following the Brahminical culture, let's say they are in breaking all the regulative principles, right? So all the four like eating meat or drinking, having illicit connection, gambling, and hippies, they were doing everything of those things, right? And many of those hippies who came to this path, they became the Goswamis. They were not only given the sacred thread, the Brahminical thread, right? They were given the sannyas ashram, right? By Prabhupada. They were given the so he's countering, and of course that time there were people in India, back in India, who were criticizing Prabhupada, and he's telling that I'm not doing anything whimsically. I'm doing it based on the sastras, what the bhakti text says. And in the past, some of you may know, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has fought, not literally fought, like based on the scripture evidence debate. He won the debate in the big assembly. There were a lot of caste Goswamis have come, and he defeated them, saying that based on these things, you are all wrong, and everybody is eligible to do the bhakti. So he's making the point that this has been proven again and again that there is no qualification the way you all call. He's telling them to the caste Goswamis, the way you all call that it is required to do bhakti is not required, right? So Prabhupada is using that and saying that that's exactly doesn't matter if people have eaten meat, they had the illicit connection and all, but they have left all those things, right? They have left all those things and they have taken shelter of Krishna. So they are all eligible to get the Vaishnava initiation. They are all eligible to further go and get the Brahmana initiation. So they are all eligible and they are all high grade Vaishnava. They could not be segregated. They are low grade Vaishnava. And Prabhupada was just proving the point, and that's the reason he wrote all those things in Nectar of Devotion commentary. Make sense? So Prabhupada fought a lot. Okay, Mataji, continue.
The conclusion is inspirational. Bhakti yoga is totally independent and self sufficient. No material impediment should discourage one from path of surrender.
Thank you. So here are some questions. So to see if we have understood the concept. So if all people who are qualified for bhakti start neglecting varnashrama duties, then isn't it sinful? What is the answer?
No, bro.
Yes, no, they are not sinful. As long as they are following the path of bhakti, they are practicing all the angas, especially the important angas, important section of bhakti, they are not sinful. Okay. Next question. If they do not perform their prescribed duties and they simply perform bhakti, all people will be engaging in sinful activities. Somebody make the comment. Is this true or false?
False.
It's not a sinful activity.
Yes, it falls. Okay. That being the case, how can they become pure if they are sinful? So let's say because we all have done so many sins in our this life and the past life. So what will happen to that?
The
The
intention
reactions.
of go ahead. Go ahead, Mataji.
I was saying the reactions, if one is completely devoted towards devotional service in Krishna, then the sinful reactions will be taken away by Krishna.
Yes, so the bhakti itself is a purifying process. So as long as a sadhaka, the practitioner, is practicing, so they are not pure, but they are practicing the. So I'm emphasizing the our path. We are practicing the pure devotional service, but we are not perfect. There's a difference, right? As long as we are doing the process itself is purifying. The process, the chanting of. So let's say even right now many devotees say that I am doing mechanical chanting, right? I'm saying that, yeah, I do mechanical chanting. It's like but itself just doing that process and just trying to make improvement on that itself is a purifying process. That itself will enable me to get purified from all my anarthas over time, right? So there's no other process required. Just the process of the bhakti itself is purifying. Okay, so no other process is required. And the fourth question, should they perform some kind of atonement? What is the answer?
Not required.
Not required. Not at all. Okay. But then, are you at fault for not performing required angas of bhakti such as observation of Ekadashi or Janmashtami?
Yes.
Correct. So one has to. So we cannot say, "Oh, I don't follow that, but I won't follow the bhakti path." Means the angas of bhakti. So we cannot say that. So if one has to, so in this case, no. One, the devotee practitioner must follow the observation of the prescribed things in the bhakti tradition, which is Ekadashi, right? And it's a purifying. We are not doing as a ritual Ekadashi. That I am not doing as a ritual. It's not a fasting. I'll lose my weight is good for my body. No, that's not the purpose. Ekadashi, we are doing it because we are trying to increase the remembrance of Krishna. So we are focusing less on eating food and doing all those stuff, right? So that's the reason we do that. Janmashtami is the birth of Krishna, appearance day of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So devotee celebrate that because that is the important. Why it is important? Because all each of these celebration is bringing us closer to Krishna because we celebrate. We are in loving devotion, like we are celebrating the birthday, right? But celebrating the birthday means that we are all coming together as a family people, and we are in love within the family. So that's the reason why it is important, not a ritual. It is a very natural part of growing in love. Okay, so summary of the duties expected of a sadhaka. He is at fault for failing to perform the essential angas of bhakti. He is not at fault for failing to perform the duties of varna and ashrama. If he commits a forbidden activity, he need not, let me underline it, he need not perform the karma kandya praishchita, means the atonement. For such a person, bhakti alone acts as his atonement. So bhakti alone acts as his atonement. So bhakti itself is purifying, and bhakti acts as an atonement also. Okay, so here I wanted to talk. So some extra notes are here. So you initially you saw the reference. It says that's sankha, like so, making the mark, right? Then they shine like that. So we in every Vaishnava, when they are taking the initiation, they go through 5 sanskara, like there are 5 important part of the initiation, right? And that is the part of Vaishnava sampradaya, our lineage, or Vaishnava lineage. So and is from this Smriti Shastra explains pancha samskara in the following manner. So this is tapa pundaram tatha nama mantro yagya cha panchama ami hi pancha samskara param param akanti hetavaha. So this is tapa, pundra, nama, mantra, and yagya. So 5. These 5 items comprise, not compromise, comprise pancha samskara. They are the cause of intense devotion to Lord Hari. Further, one who marks his body with the syllables of Hari's name using sandal paste purifies the world, and after that attains the kingdom of God. So now, what does it mean? So do we, like in the our Gaudiya Vaishnava, do we get the mark of Shankha and Chakra? No, we don't. Um, I don't have Sankha or Chakra mark. But that is the Sri Sampradaya. It follows, right? So here for us, the tapa. So tapa means austerity, right? So for us, we are giving voluntarily. We are giving the sense gratification. This tapa is for long life, for lifelong, to please Krishna. So that is it. So what the tapa means? Austerity. So so there is no Sankha and Chakra, but we we do put the different. So as a devotee practitioner, we put the tilak at 12 places on our body, right? Does everybody knew about it? So I see Bri Mataji saying, I think Shiva Prabhu probably knows. If you don't know, so we just do not only put the tilak over here, which is the pundra, types of tilak, right? That's the second part. Urdha pundra is all vertical pundra. Okay, Urdha pundra, second point it says. On top of that, we do the 12 places, and you can look YouTube also. So uh, uh, at the tummy, and then at the chest, on the throat, on the side of the body, and then on
Shoulder.
the arm, here, right? Then the other side of the body, and then here on the back, and then at the bottom, and so devotee of every day after shower, they put, and that's the protection that gives the protection, because and then you are, every time we are putting the tilak, we are saying the name of Krishna. Okay, so if you don't know, on the side we can talk about. I can send you the document on how to put those 12 tilak. It's very good. Okay, so that's the tapa and the pundra, right? So this is the pundra and tatha nama. So they receive the dasya name, right? For like Damodar Haridas, right? So for example, so and then yagya, they do the deity worship. So say that we do the deity worship at home, and then as once get the mantra diksha. So when you are getting the initiation on the chanting beat, the guru is giving, okay, now giving the chanting beat and saying that, okay, now you should chant Hare Krishna on that. So that's the mantra, and the Gayatri mantra, the second. So our initiation has been divided into 2 parts. Before, the mantra used to be only people will together get the Hare Krishna, and then the Gayatri mantra together. But recently in Prabhupada lineage, they divide into 2 parts, because not everybody is ready to receive the Gayatri mantras. For theirs, they should be really firmed up, and they should have at least be have the good knowledge of the Bhakti Shastra and everything. So the second initiation one get the Gayatri mantra. So these are the 5 steps: Tapa, Pundra, Nama, Yagya, Mantra. So these 5 things happens as the part one get the initiation. Yes, Bri Mataji.
I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
The first question is, for the mantra, would it be required to have both in order to become perfected in bhakti? That's my first question.
No. So as yeah. So as part the so as part of the Bhagavatam, in fact, getting a initiation is also not required. One can sufficiently do the Hare Krishna chanting and they will become perfect. It says one place. But so now I'm putting the but here. Okay, so even that is the initiation is not required. The name is so potent. Okay, but we are in Kali Yuga. If we don't do that, then the path will be very slow because there's no teacher, no guru, and it all depends on my ability to chant properly and do all those stuff. So there's no support system, and that's the reason the same Shastra, the Bhagavatam says that one should have the Guru. Srimad Bhagavad Gita says one should have the Guru. Now, so Guru in the Kali Yuga, even though it says that the Nama itself is very strong and no support is required, then yet it says that it is highly, 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 highly recommended that one should have the Guru. Okay, so now we once have the Guru and they only get the Harinam Diksha. Harinam Diksha means Hare Krishna Diksha. Is it required to get the Gayatri mantra? Again, no. It's not required if one is sincerely doing the Harinam Diksha and they are following all the important angas of the bhakti tradition. Okay, they are, and that includes the deity worship at home, sincerely following doing the deity worship. But now it adds buts again that, and there is some confusion that it says that mantra diksha really means Gayatri mantra. But then Prabhupada never said that mantra diksha means Gayatri mantra. Okay. Uh, so in the but is getting Gayatri mantra, one should aspire to become and grow on the path of bhakti and become eligible. If they can become eligible to get the Gayatri mantra, that's very good, because what happens when one, and the reason is it accelerates the process. When one does the uh, direct seva to the deities, or even they, if not their deity seva, they are learning the bhakti sastra and they're trying to become the uttama bhakti, uttama bhakta, because they are, the more one study the bhakti shastra and the more one practices it, more one will get the realization. So why we study the bhakti shastra? To get the realization. So it is, so we want to get the um, study to get the realization, and realization is the one which will bring closer to Krishna. So studying the Shastra is very, very important. Hearing and chanting and reading, all those things are the important aspect of the bhakti. So to answer your question in nutshell, it is not required, but is it a good thing? Yes, if one does it, it's a good thing. But is it required? As per Prabhupada, it's not. If one is sincerely practicing the Harinam, itself is good enough. Okay.
Okay. And then the second question to that, and I think you tapped on it, was that what's the significance of the Gayatri mantra? So it's to make your path to Uttama Bhakti accelerated.
So, so Gayatri, as a part of becoming a Brahman Diksha, Gayatri mantra is given, right? And that is that, again, all the mantras have the purpose, right, for purification purpose. So as a second initiate in our parampara, what we call a second initiate, is that those mantra will help. But that doesn't, but Hari Nam, Hare Krishna mantra itself is the most potent mantra, right? So these mantra again act as a support, right? And this is the part of the process that once you become a Brahmin, to perform the deity seva, these mantras should be done for the purification. Because when you are now, one is going on the altar and serving the deity directly, and I'm not there yet, these mantra gives me the qualification to go on the altar, touch the deity, prepare the bhoga for the deity. Because I'm so impure, so these mantras are giving as the support for me to go and do that. That's the reason.
Is it not a good idea to have deities at home
No, we should
then?
have we should have the deities at home, because so okay. So this is again the question, and Harivilas Maharaj has talked about this few times. So most devotee, they have the deities at home, or they can have the picture of of the deities at home also, is totally fine. The goal is to establish the relationship, the personal relationship. And when we are doing the deity worship every day at home, then what happens? It is creating that habit, right? I'm doing the tulsi aarti, I'm doing the I'm offering the bhoga to the deities, right? So it is creating a relationship. It is putting all those things. Now, let's say if I'm doing the deity worship, and then because I am spending so much of time at the deity worship at home, and I'm not going to the temple, that's the problem. Okay, so what Harilas Maharaj was telling, that if you live here within the circle of uh, 10 miles, and you should come for the Mangal Aarti. He was telling, by the way, I live in the 10-mile circle, but I don't go for the Mangal Aarti. Okay, so I don't follow his what he's telling. But so in that case, I should make sure that I'm doing the deity worship at home. When I'm not going for the Mangal Aarti. But when you go for the Mangal Aarti, you did not go come and repeat it at home, right? So you should. So they say that our deities are the home deities are extension of the temple deity. Okay, so the extension, they're not different. They're just an extension. So we shouldn't say, oh, I have to do the full worship at home, then I have to go and attend the whole Mangal Aarti program in the temple, right? No, that's not. So the the mood is the mood is important. I have I connected with Krishna today, Radharani and Krishna at the temple. And as the part of that, I participated in the whole day program, the full day Mangalarti or whatever program. And so it at home, what we do at home, we do the short puja at home, because we have attended everything, because we have to still feed our deities. They are like a person. So I say that, oh, I'm not going to feed my deity. So that we don't know. We do still feed the deities, and we do the some short puja at home, right? So that they should be considered the extension. Okay, extension of the deity. And this is the deity worship is one of the important aspect of the five part, the most important thing which Rupa Goswami is going to talk about in the later chapter, is deity worship, right? So having a seva of the deities at home, or the picture of the deity at home. And I'm repeating it because some devotee will make pressure. Oh, I need to have a deity. No, it's fine as long as you have a picture of the deity and you are serving them, you are feeding them. It's totally fine. Okay, they are not you're not doing anything less.
Well then, so if you're twice initiated, and it's a help in the service of the deities, everybody who's twice initiated has to do deity service in the temple?
So
Is
these
that a
things,
requirement?
okay, so these things become a little more contextual. Um, Ideally, it says that if somebody is taking the second initiation, they should have the inclination to serve the deity in the temple. That's the reason why they are taking, because this Gayatri mantra and everything is giving you that extra help to go and touch the deity, right? And accelerate your path. But there are second initiate who don't do that. Or Harilas Maharaj doesn't do it, right? So it is the contextual that once either the devotee who has got second initiated, they are doing the seva in the different places and they don't have time for the deity worship. It's totally fine. They are totally devoted. So the Krishna is within our heart, right? The external process is less important. What is more important is our internal intention, right? So one can who is not serving the directly deity, who's second initiated, but intentionally they are always with Krishna, that's totally fine. They don't need not perform the deity worship. They did not go to the, because they are always performing the deity worship within their heart. Okay, so you'll see a lot of sannyasi. Uh, uh, they don't. And some of the sannyasis, they carry their own deity. Some sannyasi even don't carry their own deity. For example, my Guru Maharaj, he doesn't carry his own deity.
He said his deities are his beads.
Yes, exactly. I was about that somebody asked him that Maharaj, you don't carry. He said that this is
This is
they are
deity.
my deity.
That's real.
And what I heard that he washes his chanting bag every day because he's giving the deity a wash, right? A shower,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
So net is bhakti is very internal. It is
Then questions. I have one more question. I'm so sorry,
yes,
everyone.
yeah. So it is from the heart. So does it mean that I should stop doing external thing? No, because when I do the external thing, for example, I put the Vaishnava tilak, I take the shower, I put this kanti mala, bead mala. You see there, and this is very practical. You just try it. You put the tie the dhoti, you put in the sari or anything. When you do these things, you feel that you don't want to do something bad. Let's say I want to go to the party, and the friends are going and having drinking or something. If you put the dhoti, even your heart won't allow that. No, no, I'm wearing the dhoti. Even though let's say you're weak, your heart would not allow because you feel that you are in a very important thing. So external does support the internal.
See.
Okay. Vaishnava acharyas, with Vaishnava etiquettes does support the internal. How we talk, right? All yes. Now go ahead, ask the next question.
One more question, and I
Yes.
apologize, everyone.
No, no, no. This is
Um,
good.
um, is there a reason why um, the Gayatri mantra is not so available, like the Harinam mantra is, with or without the connection of the Diksha Guru?
Yes. Okay. So Gayatri. So see, each mantra comes with its own adhikar. Means there's eligibilities. For example, for bhakti, the eligibility is that one should be doing the seva and should have the shraddha. Right? That's the eligibility. So there's every process comes with certain things. So Gayatri mantra in the Veda says that there is a certain eligibility that you should be if you are need to be if you are doing the direct seva of the deities and you're putting the thread or like this, then you should you should be doing the Gayatri mantra every day. So there's a recommendation, right? So one has to follow. So we cannot whimsically say that, oh, I am the devotee of Krishna, I don't need to do that. That is wrong because Krishna has given those rules, right? So we follow the rules, and we will read about this in Nectar of Instruction, where it says that the, that inclination of devotee that I will not follow this rule or I will follow this rule itself is a bad thing. What the devotee does, whatever is required, they will do it. They just because they think that I'm a devotee, I won't do it. That's a wrong thing. That's setting the wrong precedence. For example, this happened recently. Okay, so there was on Ekadashi, and these are things if you're not doing is totally fine. Okay, but as you are growing to do it is a good thing. So to break the fast for the Ekadashi, there are timings,
Mhm.
Murta. Okay. Now, does everybody has to follow? No, not really.
Yes.
Means it's fine. You do, but as you are growing, and if you know about it, and if we can follow, why not follow? Right? But we shouldn't become too ritualistic. Oh, because I have to break the fast, I'm not going to do my service. For example, so there was 1 hour of time window. This last Ekadashi. Somehow the Muhurat was that between 6:15 to 7:15 you have to break the fast. We are doing our Prabhupada seva. Does it mean that I eat and then if I eat, then I can't do the seva, right? Because we are when you're doing the altar ready, you, once you take the
Right.
shower and you are
Yeah.
not going to the bathroom or you're not eating anything, okay? So so the seva takes precedence, right? So whimsically we should not try to break the
Mhm,
rules, right? But
mhm.
higher precedence, we should always follow the higher precedence. Then what happened? And that will clear you all the confusion, okay? Not all, I mean, at least some of the confusion will clear you for you. Then what happened? One Mataji from the back altar room came and she had the Jagannath Prasad and she was telling, this is time to break the fast. And she had the rice from Jagannath Puri. This is the plain
Mhm, mhm.
rice, okay? And she was giving everybody a plain rice. Now she's telling that break the fast. Then what should I do? Should I not eat or should I eat? Tell me.
You're not supposed to, though, right?
So now, but then the rule says
I'm
that
so confused.
for the yeah, no, this is very good. These are the questions we should ask and discuss.
She gave it
Okay.
to you, so like instead of you taking it yourself, she gave it to you
Yeah, she was giving, okay?
that way.
So yeah, she was giving one morsel of rice, uncooked rice, to everybody,
Is that
right?
I think that's okay. I probably would have taken it.
Yes. So we took it because prasadam, we should not refuse the prasadam. If somebody is giving the prasadam, we should not refuse it. Okay,
Good.
that is the higher principle. So higher principle is always devoted to Krishna, devotion to Krishna. So devotion to higher principle was I have to do my service. That's the higher principle. So I, even if I don't break the fast on time, that's totally fine. I don't care. Okay, in that case, I do not care. But if I was not doing the service, I should have tried to break the fast during that time, right?
Mm.
But because I was offered the prasad, and several of the pujari who was doing the seva on the altar, they were also offered. They also came. They take one morsel, they put in the mouth, they wash their hand, they did the ashman, they went back, right? Because prasad is being offered,
Mhm.
then we should take it. So the bhakti is very simple. As long as we remember that the goal is to always remember Krishna and not to forget Krishna. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
makes sense.
confusing thing, right? Very confusing thing. What to do that or it's not.
No, it was really clear.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think your answers were very clear, so I appreciate the time.
No,
Thank you.
no, thank you. Thank you for asking these questions because still some devotee get confused. One or devotee he didn't want to take. This is again fine. Like if somebody is feeling that no, I don't eat, that's also is fine. But again, prasadam, what Chaitanya Charitamrita says that if somebody is being given the prasad, you should take it. You should honor it. But I think it's not that they refused. They took it. They folded it and they put in their pocket. So they
Mhm,
didn't
mhm.
refuse it either, right? They didn't eat it. They took it,
I see.
right? So and they will eat later. So
It's like your
again,
mood, basically,
yeah.
in
What is your
devotion.
internal mood? But if somebody is still devoting, telling that no, I'm doing a seva, I don't need to eat the prasad. That the mood is not good, right? So mood is
Mhm.
not good. We don't need to means that's okay, right?
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we will end the class today. Sorry, we went 20 minutes over. So
No
next class,
problem at all.
Hare Krishna. What Mataji?
No problem at all, Prabhu. We are
Yeah,
listening.
yeah. So it was very good question. These are the kind of discussion we should have. So we will meet on Monday and we will do the extra Varnashrama Dharma stuff. We will do that and then we'll move to chapter 6. All right. And this Sunday we are celebrating the Holi. The temple is celebrating the Holi. If you have time, come and volunteer. I Any of you are coming for the seva. Okay, Brimata is saying yes. Siva Prabhu, I think you will be there. So I am taking care of the cashier service last year before. So if you have time or if you're not signed for the syringe service, I'm looking for the more cashier. So uh,
On which side?
on the holy side, on the color
The
side,
color? Oh,
color.
Alex and I are doing that. So
Sorry, that's what you are doing.
Alex, yeah, Alex and I will.
Alex and you are okay, so we'll be doing together. Thank you.
Mhm.
So yeah, so if you have any of you are available, please. Yeah, so there are two slots, 11 to 2, and then 2 to 4, and 2 and 4 to 5. I would say 11 to 2 and 2 to 5, right? So 3 3 hour slot. You can pick any slot, and then that will be great. That will be very good help for all of us. Or if you're doing whatever service, just do the service. But always remember Krishna. One thing, this is the. Let me stop the recording here. I don't want it to be recorded.